homerjnick here with another video to highlight and review Season 10 on Diablo 3 Ultimate Evil Edition on the PlayStation 4. This was the very first season to land on console, and what a 3 months it's been. I'll happily admit, I never thought seasons would ever come to console. I thought that because there was no way it could be offline saves, and there was no way that they were going to implement an online save only feature like PC. And I'm happy to admit that I was wrong and Seasons came to console. And on March the 31st was the start date for Season 10 on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And it concludes in just a few hours. So how do Seasons actually work in console? This was a question we all eagerly wanted to know the answer to. When it went live, I stayed up to 1 o'clock in the morning. Because there's no region-specific start times on console, we all started at the same time across the world. And I really wanted to see how the save situation worked. And Seasons on console still utilises offline saves, just like non-season. That disappointed me a little bit, because it meant that if there were any exploits, then they'd probably abuse that offline save system. But there's also the fact that the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One can restore their saves to from cloud backup. I tested that straight away. I loaded up a hardcore character on Seasons, I then saved him, I backed up that save to the cloud, I then killed him. I then restored the save from the cloud, and lo and behold, the seasonal character was back and he was intact. So Seasons are indeed offline saves. Although to create a seasonal character, or to continue playing one, you do need to be online to do so. But once you're started online, you can then disconnect from the internet and carry on playing your seasonal character, although you can't register any leaderboard entries. So after that, the next stage was to test all the current exploits that exist in the hackfest version of Diablo 3 that is non-season. Before I start, if I go over to the mailbox here in Seasons, you'll notice I can't click on it. There's absolutely no way to trade with other characters in Seasons on console. So there's no way I can send them via the in-game mailbox. But also, when you drop gear in local co-op, the gear's designated for a player, so no matter who picks it up, it will always go back into the inventory of the designated player. And online, if you drop gear, no one can see it, so nobody else can pick it up. And if you drop gear in the town, exit the game and rejoin the same session, the gear is gone. So it looked at the start of Seasons that there was no modded gear, no hacked gear, no trade, so no duplication of items. Everything was gone. Perhaps Blizzard had done it. Perhaps Seasons were going to be a very good experience for Diablo 3 console players. Sadly, that was not the case. It took 2 days for 2 major exploits to be found that offer a huge advantage in getting Primals fast, and exploits to duplicate materials. In the description of this video, I'll put the links to the 2 videos I made on those 2 exploits, because I really want Blizzard to patch them for Season 11. But those exploits aside, off lots of players went to play Seasons on Diablo 3 on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, and it was really refreshing to see the player base pick back up, with lots of players and lots of players playing in groups. So how did the PS4 players do in Season 10 in Diablo 3? We're going to have a look at the leaderboards and check all the solo ones for softcore and hardcore, check their gear, and we'll also check the meta for the groups on the leaderboards too. Now, the exploits that I mentioned have tainted the leaderboards, and I'm not going to call anyone a cheater. I'm simply going to look at their gear and note how many primals they have. I will say that on PC there is at least one player who has a top meta build with 6 primals, and that was one player from all regions on the PC version of Diablo 3. So let's remember that when we look at the leaderboards on PS4. Okay, so let's have a look at the leaderboards on Season 10 of Diablo 3 on the PlayStation 4. Let's go to Greater Rifts and let's go to Softcore. There we go, Softcore. Let's start at the Wizards. So we're going to take a look at the top spot and have a look at their gear and see how many primals they've got. So number one spot for Wizard is 109 GR. With no doubt the Mantled Heel Lightning Wizard. So this guy has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 primals in the top spot for Wizards, and he's 4 Greater Rift levels clear of second spot. Witch Doctors. Fairly competitive. Greater Rift 101 done. How many primals does this LON build have then? 1. 2. 2 primals in that build. And they're all the same, obviously, builds. Brilliant, a Greater Rift. 101 done by Witch Doctors. Monks. In Softcore, I've done a 98. Interesting that it's not a duo generator monk, it's an LON LTK monk. How many primals has this guy got? 1. 1 primal. Brilliant. And he takes the top spot with a 98. Ah, there's the generator monk. And he doesn't have many primals either. Brilliant, so that's what the monks are, 98. Slight difference there with the wizard though, the wizard did 109. Demon Hunter, so many Demon Hunters this season. We have 102 in the Softcore leaderboard. How many primals? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 primals. And 102 with the Demon Hunter, Shadow and Pale. Crusader. Whoa, 110 in Softcore. Gotta be the hammered in build. There we go. Look at that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 primals in the top hammered in build of 110. I remember a fair amount of Crusaders in Season 10 for PlayStation 4 in Softcore. Quick look at the groups. 2-player. What have we got? 112 Greater Rift in Softcore. Support Barb. Hammered in Crusader. 3-player. We've got 115 Greater Rift. Support Barb, support Monk, and the Hammered in Crusader. And 4-man Greater Rift. Greater Rift 118, and by quite a lot. Very competitive in the groups in Softcore. What do we have? We have a Twister Wizard in the top group in Softcore on Season 10 PlayStation 4. That might be surprising to some, but on PlayStation and Xbox you can hold down 2 buttons at once and cast Spectral Blades and Twister at the same time, which gives you a bit of an advantage. So that's why he's in there. Support Monk. No, it's not a Hammered in Crusader, it's a support Crusader. Wow. And Shadow and Pale. Demon Hunter, which are the Rift Guardian killers. What was the next group underneath them? Support Barb, Witch Doctor, Support Monk, Demon Hunter. Brilliant. So that's the Softcore. This is a little review of what was achieved and the gear that the top spots had. So let's now go to Hardcore and start with the Wizards. So Greater Rift 100 was done by Peanut Pump in Hardcore. Let's see how many primals he's got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 primals. Yep, that's what you can do with 11 primals. It's a greater riff 100 in hardcore. Witch Doctor did a 93. Yeah. That's not that. Peanut Pump was Wizard, wasn't it? Yeah, 100. So Peanut Pump has the top spot in the Witch Doctor and the Wizard. How many primals has he got? Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 primals in his Witch Doctor, which has cleared 6 greater rifts above second place. The Monk, we have a 96. Lashing Tail Kick, we have 1, 2, 3 primals in the top Monk hardcore. Did a 96. Remember, Softcore did a 98. So that's very impressive. I made it to 6th with my Inner Generator Monk. Superb. I had 3 primals. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the monks did. Not too bad. Demon Hunters. Loads of Demon Hunters this season. And the top clear was a 98. And he had... how many primals? 1, 2, 3. 3 primals in the top bill. Brilliant. 98 for the Demon Hunters. And as you can see, they were quite competitive. Lots of Demon Hunters this season. Crusader was 100 in hardcore. Brilliant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 primals in the top build for Crusader at 100. And yeah, that must be hammered in. Yeah. Fantastic. Barbarians. GR90. How many primals? 1 primal in the top barb and hardcore for season 10 on PlayStation 4. So what about the group meta? We have 101 done in 2-man, support barb, hammered in Crusader. 3-player, support barb, support monk, and hammered in Crusader, which is an excellent build. And the 4-player, we have 105 cleared in hardcore, 4-man group, support barb, support monk, hammered in Crusader, and of course the Demon Hunter with the Shadow Impale set. So that's just a quick review of all the leaderboards and softcore and hardcore for the solo groups and their builds and how many primals they had, and the group meta as well for PlayStation 4, and that was the leaderboards for season 10. So that was the leaderboards for season 10 on PlayStation 4 for Diablo 3. Did we enjoy season 10? I think, putting the exploits aside, most people really enjoyed the game, getting into seasons, playing hard for 3 months, becoming more of a community, meeting new friends and getting to play with them. The leaderboards looked pretty decent. Some top spots there looked a bit dodgy. If you look through the leaderboards, you will see that there's quite a few players with 13 primals in each slot. So as we look forward to season 11, we've enjoyed our first season, season 10 on console. We look forward to season 11. The Necromancer, of course, is coming out. So if Blizzard can seize on this opportunity by fixing the 2 exploits that I mentioned, then Season 11 will be very good on console. We'll have no hacked gear. If they fix the exploit with duplicating and getting Primals easier, and the fact that we can't install any third-party programs, there can be no botting or no turbo HUD or map hacks and such like, then Season 11 might be very good on console if Blizzard can fix those 2 exploits. And it's a very important point that they do. I won't be playing Season 11 if they leave those exploits in the game. The only other thing to mention about Season 10 was the fact that players can restore their saves. So in hardcore, the leaderboards might slightly reflect builds gearing towards damage rather than toughness and recovery, because there is the ability to restore your save. There's nothing Blizzard can do about that. It's a Microsoft and Sony feature of the console, and the saves are still offline. It would have been nice to have some sort of online save facility so you couldn't restore your save. I'm not sure they could ever have a solution for that, because it's always going to be a feature of the console to restore your save. But Season 10 was largely successful. I think console players enjoyed it. The exploits are there. Hopefully they get patched. Season 11 comes, the Necromancer. Most likely most people will be Necromancers in Season. Who knows? But let's hope that they can fix the exploits and we can all enjoy the next season, Season 11. But that's just a little review of Season 10 and the leaderboards for the PlayStation 4 version of Diablo 3. I'm homerjnick, and I'm out of here.